Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Easy Talk Time. I'm Olivia.
And I'm Sam. So glad you're here with us today, wherever you are in the world. Whether you're on your commute, doing the dishes, taking a walk, or maybe still lying in bed. No judgment here.
Absolutely no judgment. In fact, today's topic is perfect if you're still in bed because we are talking all about, drum roll please.
The perfect morning.
Yes, we're diving into everyone's idea of a great start to the day. What does your perfect morning actually look like? What do you do? What do you eat? Do you even like mornings?
Because let's be real, not everyone is a morning person, and that is totally okay. We're going to talk about all of it today. The early birds, the night owls who have to wake up early anyway, the people who love a big breakfast, the ones who only need coffee to survive.
All of it. So whether your perfect morning involves a 5-mile run at sunrise or literally just making it out of bed before noon, this episode is for you.
And we'd love to hear from you too. After you listen, drop a comment or send us a message. Tell us what your perfect morning looks like. We read every single one.
All right, let's get into it. Sam, I have to ask you first, are you a morning person?
Oh, wow, right off the bat. Okay, honestly, no, I am not a natural morning person. Like, I deeply admire people who bounce out of bed at 5 a.m. feeling amazing. That is just not me. When my alarm goes off, my first instinct is always to throw it across the room.
Same. Oh my goodness, same. I think there are two types of people in this world. Those who wake up and immediately start planning their day, and those who need at least 20 minutes of just lying there, staring at the ceiling, mentally preparing themselves for the fact that they have to exist.
I am deeply in the second category. Like every morning, I have a full internal negotiation with myself. Okay, if I skip breakfast, I can sleep 10 more minutes. And then another 10 minutes later, okay, if I also skip washing my hair.
You know what? I respect the strategy. But here's the thing. Even people who aren't natural morning persons can build a morning they actually enjoy. And I think that's really what today's conversation is about. It's not about becoming some 4 a.m. productivity machine unless that genuinely makes you happy.
And if it does, we're happy for you. We don't fully understand you, but we're happy for you.
We support you, but it's really about finding what works for you, what makes your morning feel good, what sets the right tone for the rest of your day, because how you start your morning genuinely does affect your mood, your energy, and even how productive you feel.
That's so true. I notice a huge difference on days when I wake up and just immediately look at my phone versus days when I take even just a few minutes to do something intentional. The difference in how I feel is wild.
Yes, we'll definitely get into that. The phone habit, morning routines, breakfast debates, all of it. But first, let's talk about something really important. What time does your perfect morning actually start?
Okay, so this is genuinely a controversial topic because there's this whole culture around waking up super early, like 5 a.m., even 4:30 a.m. And the idea is that successful, productive people are up before the sun. Have you heard of the 5 a.m. club?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are books, podcasts, entire movements built around the idea that the early morning hours before everyone else wakes up are the most powerful, most creative, most productive time of the day. And for some people, that genuinely is true.
Right, and I think the science behind it is interesting. Your cortisol levels, that's the hormone that helps you feel alert and awake, are naturally higher in the early morning. So for a lot of people, the brain is just sharper, clearer, more focused before the day gets noisy and distracting.
And there's something really beautiful about the quiet of early mornings, right? Like before the texts start coming in, before the emails pile up, before the world wakes up and starts demanding things from you. There's a peacefulness to early mornings that I do genuinely love on the days when I manage to actually be awake for them.
Which is like twice a year for me. But I cherish those days. I genuinely do. There's something almost magical about making a cup of coffee while it's still dark outside and just sitting with your thoughts for a minute before the chaos begins.
But here's the other side of this, and I think it's really important to say. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not automatically better than waking up at 7 or 8 or even later. Everyone has a different natural rhythm. Scientists call it your chronotype, basically your body's biological preference for when to sleep and when to be awake.
Exactly. Some people are genetically more like morning larks. They naturally feel good waking up early. And some people are night owls. Their brains actually function better later in the day and into the evening. And neither of those is wrong or lazy or anything like that. It's literally biology.
So, the perfect wake up time, in my opinion, it's whatever time allows you to get enough sleep and start your day without feeling rushed or miserable. Because a morning that starts with panic and stress is not a good morning, no matter what time it starts.
Totally. I've had mornings where I woke up at 6 a.m. and felt amazing, and mornings where I woke up at 6 a.m. and wanted to cry. And the difference was almost always whether I'd gotten enough sleep the night before. Sleep is everything.
We could do a whole episode on sleep. Actually, note to self, we should do a whole episode on sleep.
Put it on the list. Okay, so let's say you wake up at whatever your perfect time is. What's the first thing you actually do?
Okay, so this is the part that I think really defines your morning, the first 15 to 30 minutes after you wake up, because there are so many different approaches, and honestly, what you do in those first few minutes can set the whole tone.
Right, so you've got the phone checkers, and I will fully admit I have been guilty of this. I know. It's a habit I've been working on. But you wake up, and the first thing you do is reach for your phone. Check Instagram, see what's in the news, reply to that text from last night.
And there's research that actually shows this is not great for your brain first thing in the morning. When you immediately flood your brain with information and social media, you're kind of hijacking your attention before you've even had a chance to be present with yourself. You immediately start reacting to other people's lives and other people's agendas.
Yeah, and I noticed it in my mood too. Like if I see something upsetting on the news first thing, or even just something mildly annoying on social media, it colors my whole morning. My brain is already in reaction mode before I've even gotten out of bed.
So, a lot of morning routine experts suggest having what they call a phone free first 30 minutes. Give yourself that time before you let the outside world in. And I've tried this, and honestly, on the days when I stick to it, I feel so much calmer, so much more like myself.
Curious. So what do you do instead? Because I think that's the practical question, right? It's easy to say don't look at your phone, but if that's your habit, you need something to replace it with.
Great point. And this is where it gets really personal because everyone's different. For me, I love starting with a few minutes of just quiet. I know that sounds almost too simple, but just lying in bed for a couple of minutes without any noise, any screens, any input, just existing, it genuinely helps. Like I'm giving my brain a gentle on-ramp into the day.
I like that framing, a gentle on-ramp, because right now my morning on-ramp is more like being thrown onto a highway at full speed.
Which is valid, but maybe not ideal. Other things people love in that first 15 minutes is stretching or a little light movement. It doesn't have to be a full workout. Even just 5 minutes of gentle stretching in bed or standing up and doing some light movement gets the blood flowing and tells your body, hey, we're awake, we're alive, let's go.
I've also heard a lot of people swear by making their bed first thing, which sounds so small and simple, but there's actually a famous saying about it. The idea being that if you complete one task right after waking up, it gives you a small sense of accomplishment and momentum. Like you already did something, you already won something, even if it's tiny.
I love that. The idea of a small win to start the day. It doesn't have to be making your bed. It could be anything. Drinking a glass of water, writing down 3 things you want to do today, or even just taking 3 deep breaths. The point is intentionality. You're choosing how to start your day instead of just reacting.
And I think that's what we mean when we talk about a perfect morning. It's not about being perfect in the traditional sense. It's about feeling like you had some agency over those first moments, like you showed up for yourself.
Okay, we have to talk about this because it is legitimately one of the most divisive topics in everyday life. Coffee versus tea.
Coffee. End of discussion.
Oh my goodness. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. People have strong opinions about this.
I'm sorry, but it's non-negotiable for me. Like, I don't even feel like a functioning human being before my first cup of coffee. It's not even about the caffeine at this point. It's ritualistic. The smell of it brewing, that first warm sip, that is my morning. That is my signal that the day has begun.
I love that you feel so strongly about this. I'm more of a tea person myself, actually. And I think what I love about tea is that there are so many varieties that you can almost match it to your mood. Like, if I want something energizing, I'll have a green tea. If I want something calming and cozy, maybe a chamomile. If I want something that feels like a warm hug, a good masala chai.
Okay, tea is kind of amazing. I'll give you tea.
Ha! Progress. But honestly, whatever your morning drink is, coffee, tea, a glass of warm lemon water, a smoothie, just plain water, I think there's something really powerful about having a morning beverage ritual. It's this small, comforting thing that anchors you. It tells your body and your brain, this is morning, this is our time.
It's funny because my relationship with coffee is deeply connected to memories. Like the smell of coffee reminds me of my parents' kitchen in the morning when I was a kid. My mom always had a pot brewing before anyone else was awake. And even now, that smell just immediately makes me feel safe and at home somehow.
Oh, that's so lovely. Food and drink are so connected to memory and emotion, aren't they? The sense of smell, especially, is so powerfully linked to memory. So your morning drink isn't just a drink. It's comfort, it's familiarity, it's a little piece of home.
Okay, now you've made coffee sound poetic. Look at what this podcast does.
That's what we're here for. All right. And what about food? Breakfast. Do you eat it? Do you skip it? What does the perfect morning breakfast look like?
Okay, real talk. I skip breakfast more often than I should. I know. We've all heard breakfast is the most important meal of the day a million times.
And interestingly, that phrase was actually heavily popularized by cereal companies in the early 1900s as a marketing strategy. So while there is nutritional science supporting breakfast, the most important meal language was partly driven by advertising.
Whoa, I did not know that. So even my breakfast guilt has been manufactured by corporations. Great.
Welcome to modern life. But jokes aside, there is real evidence that eating a nutritious breakfast helps with concentration, mood, and energy levels, especially if you have a physically or mentally demanding day ahead.
And I definitely notice a difference. On days when I actually eat a proper breakfast, something with protein, maybe some fruit, I feel sharper, more patient, less likely to snap at someone by 10 a.m. because my blood sugar has crashed.
The blood sugar crash is real. That 10 or 11 a.m. slump where you suddenly can't think straight and you're mildly annoyed at everything.
That's hunger. That's your body saying you made a mistake this morning.
Exactly. So what does your ideal breakfast look like? If you were eating breakfast every morning, what would it be?
Honestly, eggs. Like really good scrambled eggs with some cheese and herbs, maybe some toast on the side. Something warm and savory. I am not a sweet breakfast person at all. Pancakes, waffles, sweet cereals, I respect them, but they're not from me in the morning.
Really? I'm the opposite. I love a sweet breakfast, like a bowl of oatmeal with honey and berries, or some Greek yogurt with granola, or even just good toast with peanut butter and banana. Something that feels nourishing but not too heavy.
Curious. Do you think breakfast preferences say something about your personality? Because I feel like savory breakfast people and sweet breakfast people are fundamentally different types of humans.
Oh, you might be onto something. There's probably a study somewhere. And then you've got the intermittent fasting crowd who don't eat breakfast at all and claim it's the best thing they've ever done for their health and focus.
And look, I'm not here to debate diet culture. Whatever works for your body and your lifestyle. But I do think there's something to be said for the social and emotional ritual of breakfast, like sitting down and actually eating something, even something small, as a way of saying, I'm taking care of myself this morning.
Absolutely. And even just 5 minutes sitting with your breakfast instead of eating it standing over the sink or rushing out the door, that small shift can make your morning feel so much more intentional and calm.
Not that I've ever eaten cereal standing over the sink while checking my emails. Absolutely not. That's never happened.
Never. Okay, let's talk about something that I know our listeners have really strong feelings about. Exercise in the morning. Should you do it? Does it actually help? And more importantly, how do people who do it actually make themselves do it?
Okay, so morning exercise is one of those things that genuinely divides people. There are those who absolutely swear by it and say it's the only way they can exercise because life gets too busy later in the day. And then there are those who couldn't imagine putting on workout clothes before 8 a.m. if their life depended on it.
Hi, hello, I am those people. I have tried so many times to become a morning workout person, and every single time, my bed wins. My bed is just, she's very persuasive. I think a lot of people feel that way. But here's what's interesting. There is something to morning exercise from a physiological standpoint. When you exercise in the morning, you get a boost of endorphins, those feel-good chemicals, that can actually make you feel more positive and energized for the rest of the day. It's like starting your day with a natural mood elevator.
Okay, so explain to me, and this is something I've genuinely always wondered. How do people who work out in the morning actually do it? Like, what is the mental or practical trick? Because for me, the gap between alarm goes off and I am in workout clothes feels insurmountable.
So, one thing I've heard from consistent morning exercisers is that the key is making it as easy as possible before you even have to think about it. Like, lay your workout clothes out the night before, put your running shoes right next to your bed, have your gym bag packed and by the door. Remove every possible friction point so that when your alarm goes off, the path of least resistance is actually to get up and go.
That's clever, because a lot of it is inertia, right? Once you're up and moving, it's fine. It's that initial moment of deciding to get up that's the hardest.
Exactly. And another thing that helps is not giving yourself time to negotiate. Like some people say, and I've tried this and it actually works, that when your alarm goes off, you count down from 5 and then you physically get up. You don't lie there thinking about it. You don't check your phone. You count down and you move. It sounds almost too simple, but it bypasses that bargaining phase where your tired brain talks you out of everything.
Interesting. The 5-second rule. Yeah, I've heard of that. Mel Robbins talks about it.
Exactly. And look, morning exercise doesn't have to be intense. Even a 15 or 20-minute walk outside in the morning is genuinely powerful. You're getting movement, you're getting fresh air, you're getting natural light into your eyes, which actually helps regulate your circadian rhythm and makes you feel more awake.
Okay, you're almost convincing me. Almost.
I'll take it. And for people who genuinely cannot exercise in the morning, for whatever reason, schedule, energy, health, or just a different lifestyle, that's completely fine. Exercise at the time that works for you is infinitely better than not exercising because you feel it has to happen at a specific time.
Thank you for saying that, because I do think there's a lot of pressure around morning routines in general. Like if you're not doing a cold plunge and a workout and journaling and meditating before 6 a.m., then you're somehow failing. And that's just a lot.
And that is such an important point, Sam, and I'm glad you brought it up because there's this whole culture now, especially on social media, of the perfect morning routine. And it can feel incredibly aspirational and also incredibly overwhelming.
Right. You see these videos of people who wake up at 5 a.m., do yoga, journal, meditate, drink some celery juice, run 5 miles, read a book, and somehow also have a perfectly clean home and a beautiful breakfast. And it's like, when does any of that happen? Do these people sleep?
And I think it's important to remember that what you see on social media is curated. It's someone's highlight reel, not their reality. That person probably also has mornings where they oversleep and eat cereal standing up and leave the house with one earring in.
Which, again, is completely relatable and valid. And here's the thing, those elaborate routines work for some people, genuinely. Some people thrive on structure and having a long, detailed morning ritual. It makes them feel prepared and grounded, and that's great.
But for other people, especially people with kids or unpredictable schedules or health challenges or just a different lifestyle, a 20-step morning routine isn't realistic or even desirable, and that's equally great.
I think the most honest thing we can say is the perfect morning routine is the one that makes you feel good. That's it. Full stop. It doesn't have to look impressive. It doesn't have to be shareable. It just has to work for you.
Yes, and sometimes the most important thing isn't what you do in the morning, but how you feel during it. Do you feel rushed? Do you feel calm? Do you have a few moments that are genuinely yours before the demands of the day take over? That feeling is what we're actually chasing.
And the way to get that feeling is going to look completely different for different people. For some people, it's a workout. For some, it's reading. For some, it's a quiet cup of coffee. For some, it's listening to music while they shower. For some, it's chatting with their family or their partner over breakfast.
All of those are valid. All of those count. The point is presence and intention, not performance.
Okay, so let's play a little game. I'm going to describe some different types of people and their mornings, and Olivia, you tell me what you think their perfect morning looks like.
Oh, I love this. Okay, go for it.
All right, person number one, Maria. She's a teacher. She has two kids under the age of 8. She wakes up at 6:30 a.m. because that's when the youngest comes into her room and announces the day has begun whether she's ready or not.
Oh, Maria. Okay, so Maria's perfect morning probably isn't about what she does first. It's about creating a little bit of order in what could easily become chaos. Maybe she has everything laid out the night before, the kids' school bags, their clothes, their lunches already made. So when the morning comes and her youngest is bouncing off the walls, at least the practical stuff is already handled and she can be present with her kids instead of running around frantically.
And maybe her me moment is those 10 minutes after she drops the kids at school. She sits in her car, drinks her coffee, listens to a song she likes. That's it. That's her morning. And that is enough.
That is absolutely enough. And honestly, that might be the most genuinely earned cup of coffee in existence.
Okay, person 2, James. He works from home, no kids, flexible schedule. He can technically wake up whenever he wants.
This is interesting because having total freedom with your mornings can almost be harder than having structure because there's no external force telling you when things need to happen. It's easy to just drift and suddenly it's noon and you haven't really started your day.
The paradox of choice kind of thing.
Exactly, yes. So for James, the perfect morning might actually involve intentionally creating structure that doesn't exist naturally. Maybe he sets a consistent wake-up time even though he doesn't have to. Maybe he has a dedicated start work time and does something enjoyable before that. A walk, reading, cooking a nice breakfast, so that the morning feels like it belongs to him, not just a blurry prelude to work.
And person 3, someone who works a night shift. They don't get home until 3 a.m., and their morning is actually the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, this is so real for so many people. And I think one of the things that night shift workers often struggle with is that the whole world is structured around a 9 to 5 rhythm. The shops, the noise, the daylight, and it can make their schedule feel kind of out of sync.
Their morning is literally everyone else's afternoon.
So their perfect morning might involve really protecting their sleep, blackout curtains, maybe some white noise to drown out the daytime sounds, and then when they wake up, which might be 1 or 2 p.m., giving themselves the same gentle, intentional start that anyone else would have, not rushing straight into activity, but taking their own morning time seriously, even if the clock says something different.
That's a lovely reframe. Your morning is your morning. It doesn't have to happen at the same time as everyone else's.
Exactly. Time is relative. Well, in the cosmic sense, not in the sense of showing up too late to things. Show up to your meetings on time, please.
Okay, solid advice.
Okay, let's get really practical for a minute. Let's talk about the little things, the small habits and choices that can genuinely make a morning feel better or worse. Sam, what are some things that, in your experience, just wreck a morning?
Oh, so many things. Number 1, waking up to an alarm that you hate. Like, there are people who wake up to these incredibly aggressive, jarring alarm sounds, and I genuinely believe that how you wake up affects your mood. If you wake up to something that sounds like a fire drill, your nervous system is in panic mode before you've even opened your eyes.
Yes, there's actual science on this. Waking up to an abrupt, loud alarm can actually increase your cortisol, the stress hormone, dramatically, whereas waking up to something gradual and gentle, or even natural light if possible, is much less of a physiological shock to the system.
Number 2, and this is a big one for me personally, having nothing to look forward to. Like, one of the things that makes it hard to get up is when your morning and your day just feel like an endless grind. No joy, no anticipation. So building in even one small thing to look forward to in the morning can genuinely help you get up, whether it's a really good breakfast, a podcast you love,
Like this one, for example.
like this one, obviously, or a TV show you watch while eating, or a playlist you love, or a walk through a beautiful route. Having something to pull you out of bed rather than just obligation.
And on the flip side, things that genuinely make mornings better, and this might sound unsexy, but going to bed at a reasonable time the night before. So much of your morning experience is determined by the night before. How much sleep you got, whether you'd wound down properly, whether your morning is organized or you're waking up into chaos because you didn't prepare.
The night before prep thing is genuinely life-changing, and I always underestimate it. When I take 15 minutes the night before to just set out my clothes, make sure I know where my keys are, have a rough plan for the next day, the morning is so much smoother. It's like I'm doing a favor for my future self.
I love that framing, doing a favor for your future self. Because in the moment when you're tired at night and you just want to fall into bed, preparing for the morning feels like a chore. But you're not doing it for present you, you're doing it for morning you. And morning you will be so grateful.
Morning me is a fragile creature who deserves kindness.
We all are. We all are. And I think that's actually a really beautiful way to think about morning routines. It's an act of kindness toward yourself.
Let's talk about mindset for a minute, because I think this is something that doesn't get discussed as much as the practical stuff. Like, a lot of morning routine advice is about what you do, but there's also something about how you think about mornings.
Say more about that.
So, I think a lot of people, myself included historically, have a somewhat adversarial relationship with mornings. Like, mornings are the enemy, mornings are hard, the alarm is a villain. And when you think about it that way, you're starting every single day in a position of resistance and resentment.
You're in a bad mood before anything has even happened.
Right. And I've been experimenting with this, and it sounds almost cheesy, but just reframing how I think about waking up. Instead of, it's morning, I have to get up, trying to think of it as, okay, here's another day. What's actually possible today?
That's not cheesy at all. That's actually really powerful. And it connects to something I've read about called morning intentions. The idea of before you even get out of bed, just taking 30 seconds to ask yourself, what would make today feel good? What do I want to feel at the end of today? What's one thing I'm genuinely looking forward to?
It's like you're giving your brain a direction before the day pulls you in every direction.
Yes, and your brain responds to that. Our minds are actually really suggestible in those first moments after waking. We're not fully in analytical mode yet, so the thoughts you have and the emotions you invite in during those first few minutes can really set the psychological tone.
Which is maybe why gratitude practices in the morning are so popular. Just even mentally noting a couple of things you're grateful for. Not because your life is perfect, but because it actively shifts your brain toward noticing what's good rather than what's hard.
And especially on days when things are hard, on the mornings when you wake up feeling anxious or sad or just heavy, sometimes those small intentional moments are the most important. Just a breath, just one thing to be gentle with yourself about, a reminder that the day is new and you don't have to carry yesterday into it.
That's really beautiful, Olivia.
Thank you. I've had some mornings where I really needed to hear that, so I figured others might too.
Okay, let's zoom out for a minute, because one thing I find so fascinating about mornings is how different they look around the world. Like what people eat, when they eat, what the morning rhythm looks like, it varies so much by culture.
Oh, this is one of my favorite topics. Okay, so in Japan, and I'm completely fascinated by Japanese morning culture, there's such an emphasis on order and ritual. A traditional Japanese breakfast, for example, is incredibly complete. Miso soup, rice, grilled fish, pickled vegetables, maybe some tamago, a Japanese-style egg. It's nourishing, balanced, and there's something very intentional and almost meditative about it.
That sounds incredible and probably very different from the grab a granola bar and sprint to the car morning that a lot of people in fast-paced cities have.
Definitely. And in Mediterranean cultures, parts of Southern Europe, the Middle East, the morning meal is often something light, maybe bread with olive oil, some cheese, olives, fresh vegetables, tea or coffee. There's a relaxed quality to it. Mornings aren't necessarily rushed. There's more of a culture of sitting and taking time.
I want that life. I want the Mediterranean morning life.
And in India, which is such a diverse country, that mornings look completely different from state to state. But if you're in South India, a breakfast of idli and sambar or dosa with chutney is a full, warm, satisfying way to start the day. Completely different from the North, where you might have paratha and chai.
And what about the UK? What does a British morning look like?
Well, you have the iconic full English breakfast: eggs, bacon, sausages, beans, toast, grilled tomato, which is absolutely a weekend or special occasion meal, not an everyday thing. On a regular day, it might just be tea and toast, honestly.
Very efficient, very practical. And in the US, mornings are really all over the place. You've got everything from a drive-through coffee and nothing else, to a huge family breakfast on weekends, to trendy smoothie bowls, to classic diner breakfasts.
Agreed. It really reflects the incredible diversity of American culture. There's no one American morning, which I actually love, but there's a strong coffee culture, more so than tea, with some exceptions. And breakfast is often something that happens on the go during the week.
And I think what's beautiful about looking at mornings around the world is that it reminds you everyone has to start their day. Everyone wakes up and does something before the rest of the day begins. It's just universally shared human experience, and yet it looks so different depending on where you are and who you are.
It's one of those things that connects us all, isn't it? The morning, the new day. We all get one. All right, let's bring it all together and talk about how you can actually start building a morning that feels good for you. Not a perfect morning in the Instagram sense, but a morning that genuinely sets you up well for the day.
Okay, give us the tips.
Tip 1, and I know we've mentioned this already, but it bears repeating: prepare the night before. Lay out what you need, know what you're doing in the morning. This single habit probably has the highest return on investment of anything. You're not going to create a calm morning out of chaos, so reduce the chaos before you go to sleep.
And I say tip 2. Give yourself more time than you think you need. One of the biggest destroyers of a peaceful morning is being rushed, and the fix is almost always just waking up a little earlier. Even 15 extra minutes can transform a frantic morning into a manageable one. You have time to eat sitting down. You have time to not panic. Revolutionary.
Tip 3, delay the phone. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, give yourself a phone-free buffer at the start of your day. Use that time to be in your body, in your space, in the present moment, rather than immediately in the world's timeline.
Tip 4, find your anchor. One thing that is reliably yours every morning. Could be coffee, could be a walk, could be 5 minutes of reading, could be a song you love. Something that signals to your brain that this is morning time, this is transition time, and it belongs to you. An anchor gives your morning ritual a heart.
Tip 5, be kind to yourself on the hard days. Not every morning is going to be good. You're going to oversleep, you're going to spill the coffee, you're going to wake up anxious or sad or just off. And on those days, the goal isn't to force a perfect routine. It's just to get through it gently, one step at a time. Socks on, then shoes on, then out the door. That's enough on those days.
I needed to hear that. Thank you.
Me too, honestly.
And tip 6, experiment. Don't feel like you have to figure out your perfect morning once and then stick to it forever. Your life changes, your needs change, your energy changes. Try things, see what feels good, keep what works, drop what doesn't. Your morning routine is allowed to evolve.
Okay, we're coming up on time, and I just want to say I've genuinely loved this conversation today. I feel like we covered everything from what time to wake up, to coffee versus tea, to mornings in Japan, and somehow it all connects back to the same thing.
Which is?
That a good morning isn't really about the morning at all. It's about how you feel going into your day. It's about giving yourself enough time, enough care, enough kindness to start well. And that means something different to every single person listening right now.
And I think if there's one takeaway from today's episode, or even just one question to take with you, it's this. What would make your morning feel better? Not someone else's morning, not the morning you think you should be having. Yours.
And we genuinely love to know it. Leave us a comment, send us a message. Tell us what your morning looks like right now and what your perfect morning would look like. We read everything. And honestly, some of our best conversations start in the comments.
Seriously, the Easy Talk Time community is the best. We love you all. And if you're new here, welcome. This is a place for great conversations, real talk, and really good vibes.
Exactly. All right, before we go, Sam, final question. Tomorrow morning, what's the one thing you're going to do differently?
Aha, I am not looking at my phone before my coffee. That is my commitment. I, Samuel, am putting my phone face down until I have at least one full cup of coffee. This is my promise to morning me.
Yes, I love it. Witnesses have heard it. It cannot be undone. And for me, I'm going to actually eat breakfast sitting down, not standing over the sink. I'm going to sit at the table like a person who has their life together, even for just 10 minutes.
We're setting the bar at a very human, achievable level, and I respect it completely.
Always. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for spending part of your morning, afternoon, evening, or wherever this finds you with us. We genuinely appreciate every single one of you.
Take good care of yourselves. Have a great morning tomorrow, and we'll see you next time on Easy Talk Time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye!
If you enjoyed this, subscribe to Easy Talk Time and keep learning English with us.